Hey, it's Fear. I just want to let you know the episode of FEARCast you're about to listen to is from season 1, so it's old and the material might not be relevant. The conversation's still good, but the band may or may not be still together. The person making movies might not be doing it anymore. But just in case, I wanted to put it out there so you guys can check it out. And also Google the bands, see if anybody's still around. And if you hear music you like, there you go. Also, check out any of the movies mentioned because movies are always still around. Well, I guess unless they pull them away. Anyway, it's an older episode, but a good episode, so I wanted to put it out. Stay tuned, nftfyb.com for everything new. And I hope you come back and enjoy season 2. We're getting some new guests and getting this thing going. So check out the other podcasts, Talk Life Pod, A and Way, and of course, FEARcast. So run along, kiddies. Are you ready? Welcome to FEARcast, everybody. I'm your host, Fear Innes. Fuck a case of the Mondays. You got a case of FEARcast, baby. Get it in ya. Today, I'm going to be able to sit down and talk with writer, director, and actor Bobby Rowe. How you doing, man?
Doing good. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Nah, we appreciate you taking time in your busy schedule to come do this.
Right on. It's my pleasure.
So,
and it's time of year again, so Halloween's right in our face once again, so I'm getting excited.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I love this time of year. I don't know what it is. It just, everything kind of gets pushing towards Halloween. It just makes me excited.
I agree.
So we'll get started. Maybe tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got started in the business.
Sure. I've always wanted to do film. I went out to UCLA, actually started to play baseball. So played there, but at that same time, I started doing stunt work. Not like Catch Me on Fire stunt work, but more athletic stunts. So got to watch, it was really nice being on set to watch some pretty big name directors today work, even, when they were kind of up and coming back in around 2000, 2004, stuff like that. So getting to kind of really soak that in, honestly, was more influential and educational than film school actually was. So I was very fortunate for that. And that kind of put me in a different spot. They, when they were using film at the time, they really needed people to throw strikes or tackle the correct way, stuff like that. Because otherwise the film would keep going, cost production thousands of dollars. So they started getting professional athletes to do it, but not people with names or faces that they couldn't afford. So it was kind of a different, weird backdoor entrance to that. I went to film school as well. I always wanted to do film, even over baseball. But that was kind of the way in. And, horror is also a nice genre that I've always loved. But the good part on the production side, business side, is you don't need A-list stars to do it. You just need a pretty good premise or a different premise to scare people. And we kind of tackled that. We actually kind of pitched it all over town, and people really wanted to know when the ghosts were going to show up. And I was trying to explain to them several times, because what scares me most is very grounded horror. And I think that hopefully the quote we use in the beginning of the movie kind of takes you into that. And that's kind of what scares me. So we kind of wanted to take that approach. And when most around Hollywood, they didn't really understand it without paranormal activity stuff going on. And that's when it was really hot. We went off and did it ourselves. So for any of your listeners that have the Blu-ray, there's actually a very raw version of Houses October Built from 2011 that they put as an extra feature on there, which I'm very proud of too, because we tried to do it as gritty and as raw as we could and believable. So all those places, it's basically the same formula as the movie that most of you guys have seen. But it's just kind of a little more interviews, a little more documentary style.
Oh, that's wicked. I don't currently have it on Blu-ray, but I do want to pick it up. Especially hearing that. Like, that's the one thing that I really liked about The Houses October Built was it took on this sort of
not exactly just found footage, but this documentary found footage style that really made it feel a lot more believable than, and it stood out more than a lot of the found footage that was kind of out at the time.
I appreciate that.
It was really impressive, and like any time, like so this came out 2014, so the last 2 years around this time, I'm like, dude, you just passing this around, you got to check out this movie. Because
we see.
Go ahead.
Yeah, in the fall especially, it's just nice because you kind of have the slow rollout nowadays with Netflix and Redbox and people discovering it a different way. We had a limited theatrical run in 2014, but ultimately for it to get around everybody, it takes a little bit of time. And we've noticed a big surge. We get a lot of emails from Brazil and in Mexico, and it seems to really resonate there, which we were really excited about in the past year. So a lot of places, especially internationally, didn't get it until last year or even this year. We opened, they flew us over to Scotland for the UK premiere, which was really neat because we actually went over to London and they asked us to speak to all the haunt owners in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really, really a cool experience to kind of understand where they're coming from, the difference in American and UK haunting, and even the way we treat Halloween. It's originally a European holiday. We kind of took it, commercialized it, and now they kind of want it back, or they want to do what we've been doing. They've been really impressed with that. So it was just really neat to see which haunts over here influence them and that they're really paying attention. So that was a very unique experience.
Well, that's pretty neat. So like what's the big difference, would you say, between the two versus haunts over there versus haunts in the US?
Well, they're starting to capitalize on the extreme haunts. They're doing their best. Their McCamey Manor version is over there. They're doing the big kind of productions. They're doing their version of Six Flags, horror nights types of things. But they're doing very, very much more boutique work, and I think that's kind of a cool way to go. That's a little more. It's elite. They're only allowing in like 12 for the night, but you get a real personalized experience that way.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds pretty neat. Now, had haunts always been something that you were attracted to, or did you just find that as a pretty cool premise, and then from there you found a love for it?
No, that was most of my childhood. I mean, I would wait for Halloween to, show up, and then there was always, JC's Haunted House kind of started a lot of these in America, and there was always, they're obviously nothing like there are today, but back then they also had, there was no touching, or there was a touching rule, meaning you could touch back then, and they took it away, and now it's been brought back. But that used to be a thing we did in middle school, high school. We would go to a haunt and then go see a horror movie after, like all through October. So that was just kind of part of growing up for me. And then when Zach Andrews and I, who's in the movie and my producing partner as well, we just kept talking about it. And, there's 35 million people a year that go, and no one's ever put it on the big screen, which is strange. And so we decided to write a narrative around it. But it was really important for us to use real haunts and real scare actors. One, to highlight how hard these guys work in general. It's pretty impressive. But two, this is what the audience is going to go do on Friday and Saturday nights anyway. Why don't we see if we can put a haunted house version of a movie on the screen for them? So it's the same type of thing they're getting to do, and then they're getting to come along the ride with us and going to see 5 or 6 haunts throughout the movie.
No, that's awesome. It's so weird. Like, I love Halloween. I love scary movies, but I don't think I've ever been to a haunted, like, other than one that I built myself. I've never been to one.
Wow, I wish I could put myself in your shoes, because it would be really, really fun to do for the first time. I mean, we've probably done 100 to 150 in the past couple years, just kind of finding the right ones for the movie, and to also, it was a really tough thing to do, to not have 5 movies or 5 haunted houses that were in the dark or a labyrinth, because they start to become very redundant. So we tried to vary it up as much as we could to give a different look, and everyone's scaring people a different way, or their theme was zombies, or the zombie paintball was actually one of the coolest experiences we've ever had. That was just a lot of fun. It's not exactly scary, but it's almost this like dream come true for most people, to at least take a couple pot shots at zombies, running at your tram.
Yeah, I thought that was fucking sick. Like, so that's a real thing that you can go and do?
Absolutely. Yeah. And they're
amazing.
They're starting. That was the only one we had heard of at the time. And so we kind of went out of our way to make sure we did it. But now I think I bet you can find a couple in each state.
Wow. Because I do think I heard something about an abandoned mall somewhere that you can kind of.
Yep. They're doing that in London.
Similar. Wow.
Yeah. So you get your Day of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead experience. And I think you kind of have flags for that one. But you were stuck in the mall and you have to get out without having the zombie take your flag.
That's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah.
Is there what's your favorite haunt, or what actually scared the shit out of you? Was there any that you felt, wow, this is it, this is the extreme?
The blackout haunts, not exactly or necessarily the ones that are titled blackout, but when they turn the lights out on you, and nothing happens for a while, for me psychologically that works better than anything else in my face. I'd rather have whatever's bothering me or whatever scares me. It's possible that it's in that room. And when you start to go psychological on people, I think that'll never get old. That'll never die. And plus, you don't need to buy a $50,000 animatronic. There's a lot more primal ways to scare people, and I think a lot of haunts are doing a good job at that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, because darkness, even when you're laying in bed at night, can be scary. Like, your brain plays all these kind of tricks on you.
Absolutely. And then when you mix it with what we touch on in the movie, with not doing background checks and that kind of stuff, that's all very real. So that'll definitely run around your head.
Oh yeah, that when I was watching the movie and you have all those little clips and they're talking about background checks, and I think the one guy did his community service at a haunt like that, you're like, holy shit, that's when it becomes real.
Yeah, I mean, you're bringing in, sometimes you see people, dads bringing in their 10-year-old kid in there, and then to think about that, wait, some felon is doing his community service here and you're going to go give him a rubber blade, or is it a rubber blade? Yeah. I mean, I think that's where we initially got the idea that I thought would be fun to kind of tackle, was kind of the whole, when a tree falls in the forest doesn't make a sound thing, but using it in the haunted house world, basically saying, have you ever seen a dead body in a haunted house? You're not able to definitively tell me that you have not, because these things are becoming so real. They even sell, dead body scent that these guys throw out, which is really neat. But it's also like, I just like that idea that, obviously 99.999, we haven't seen that. But what if we had? You would never know it. And we just snowballed off of that.
I think that's why I like it so much, because it has that real element to it, and the premise is excellent. But if you go into it even further, how, you don't know what you've seen, and you've got these guys who essentially this is kind of what they do. This is their life, what they strive to be the best and better, and they want people coming to their haunt versus another haunt. So maybe they will push the envelope a little bit.
Absolutely. There's a guy, his answer wasn't concise enough to kind of be put in the movie, but he had been knocked out 3 times on scaring people, and he was so proud of it. It was a badge of honor for him.
Oh, wow.
So there's a cast of characters, and look, like any occupation, there's always going to be a bad apple, but majority of these guys are hardworking, great, creative guys. But I think every now and then you're gonna have a couple slips through the cracks.
Well, this is kind of an interesting thing. Now, with just in your experience, do you find that the haunts are something that is more like, it's like a year-long kind of setup for the slight payoff of a month, 2-month sort of situation, or is it just something that ramps up?
Well, what's really neat, one, it's a big payoff for some of these guys, even if it's only 2 months. Some of these places are $50 a head. But what we've been seeing, which I've really thought was very smart on the business side of it, if you're not renting the place. So I'd say probably 60 to 70% of the guys rent let's say the warehouse or anything like that in September and October. But for the guys that own the property, own the land, own the building that the haunt resides in, what they've been doing is every holiday, there's a Christmas haunt. There's now a Valentine's Day haunt. There's a St. Patrick's Day haunt. And that's been cool. I mean, you'd be shocked, but Valentine's Day is sold out every year to almost any haunt that I know of that does a Valentine's Day haunt. That's how couples spend their Valentine's Day.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the premise of a horror movie, right? It was originally to like make the girl hug you and bury your head in your arms. So I guess that kind of makes a little bit of sense to do it.
Well, we learned too along the ways, especially like 80s horror, and it's always like opening kill, tits, opening kill, sex, opening kill, right? And so it seemed gratuitous if you stand back and go, oh, that's unnecessary. It doesn't have to be that way. But the same like neurons are triggered in your head from the same they are when you're scared and when you're turned on, or with the same thing that sex does for you. So it's basically the same feeling. So what they've always been doing is tricking us, because you can't just kill people every 6 minutes. But if you kind of interwove it with sex or nudity, then you kind of have that rush that goes up and down like a roller coaster. And so there was always a purpose to it. So hence why we went to a zombie strip club.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Was that the best time of the shoot?
Yeah, we made sure that we got that covered from all angles.
Like, no, we're going to need another take of this.
Yeah, I don't think that worked, but just for safety, let's do it for the 20th time.
No, that's pretty awesome. And something about a stripper with a mask on freaks me out.
Yeah, you never really seen that before. It's almost kind of a grounded version of From Dusk Till Dawn. We took it out.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
We're going to throw a taboo on top of a taboo and see what happens.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing we want to have people do is when they leave the theater, just go, shit, I never thought about that. Like that, I just want your head moving, because I'm just tired of the recycled shit. And I know people roll their eyes sometimes to found footage, and that's fine because it is oversaturated. But hopefully the well isn't completely dry, and there's still cool ways to tell the story that make it very, very believable.
No, and that's what I mean when I said I felt like that movie stood out. Is for a while there, it felt like there was 5 movies coming out each week. It was all kind of the same, and then here you guys came along with it's found footage, but we're gonna throw all these little mixes into it, and then by the end of it, I was like, holy fuck, what did I just watch?
Yeah, you'd be shocked how many people we get emails from about pressing charges and really? Things like that. So yeah, so to me, that takes me to that we reached our goal. If that was kind of our intention, is like, but we never thought people would take the bait that far. So it's pretty interesting. I'll tell you a funny story real quick. I don't know if I've ever told it before, but a guy had emailed us offering $50,000 to have the Blue Skeleton do exactly what happened to the kids in the movie.
Jeez.
And I'm just like, no, you saw what happened. That's not a good thing. And it was crazy. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just wow.
Yeah.
So did you do it? Did you kill him?
He's dead.
I knew it. Ah, damn it.
But it's that kind of thing when you're like, wow, it was taken to a different level than I could ever imagine people. And I think that we were very desensitized as an audience, and just as what we want, as everything that we want. Like I look at it with 3D is now we have 4D. I went to my first 4D. I saw Suicide Squad. Downtown Los Angeles has a new 4D theater. So it rains on you, bullets hit you in the back, which is way too real in the movie theater. Yeah. Smoke comes out, lightning flashes, all this stuff, because 3D doesn't cut it anymore for people. Now I think it's a little bit overdone, but people just keep on wanting new stuff. And so that's why haunts, every year, you're going to start hearing crazier and crazier haunts out there. I guarantee it.
Yeah, well, holy shit, 4D, like what? And then what do they do when they get bored of that?
Yeah, I literally don't know. I mean, we're going to have to get to like hologram world where you're basically watching it in front of you in your living room. But it's just how we've always been. I mean, think about how weird sex gets when, if you had Playboys, you saw sex this way. Now you have the internet where you can watch the weirdest fetish you've ever thought of. It's there. So when you get bored of that, where do we go?
I guess that's true, man. I mean, like some people hire people to kidnap them and simulate rape with them, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why this constant need for more or upgrade comes from, but wow, that is pretty fucking scary.
Yeah, even if we like don't get it, people are buying tickets, and that's crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that is a lot of it. I think that's why the haunts do so well, is because it is sort of that next level. You're essentially living the horror movie, right? Like where the people may touch you, they might not touch you. You don't know what they're gonna do.
Right. Yeah, I think for most people, if you're paying $50 a head, if your life didn't feel threatened, you want your money back.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I get from everything I've watched. Is these people are searching out for the next crazy thing, and like you said, somebody's willing to pay to essentially live a snuff fantasy.
Yes, as close as you can get. I mean, 8mm, touched on some of that, but it's that I don't think that word was really known to a lot of people. I mean, we actually took a little bit of influence from people. Always try to compare us to Blair Witch, and that's kind of not what we were doing, because Blair Witch was fake from frame one, right?
Right.
And we wanted to incorporate as much realism as possible. So it sounds strange, but we took a page out of Borat and tried to, if you strip the comedy from it, Borat is him putting himself with real people in real situations and seeing how they react. So we kind of did that within the haunt community. Within the haunted houses. So every interview you see in there is 100% real.
Wow, that's fucking brilliant, man.
Thanks.
Now with bringing up the Blair Witch, so it's dropping this weekend. Are you curious? Are you excited for what seems to be going to happen there? Or?
I think Adam's a really good director. So I am curious to see what they did with found footage. We actually share the same producer in Steven Schneider from the movie. And what's funny is because when it was titled The Woods, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? 5 kids going to the woods. I was like, this is bullshit. I said, something smells wrong here. It's just, I'm not buying it. And it's funny because I had asked him, and he didn't reply back to me. And then it was funny when it was announced. I was down at Comic-Con. It was announced, and he was like, "I couldn't tell you." He's like, "Of course, I knew you were going to pick it up." And I was like, "Well, there's no way they're making when found footage is so overdone, and then they're going to make a movie about 5 kids in the woods without titling it Blair Witch." Was just made no sense. But I love the switcheroo that they did. I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was really cool. And it was kind of this homage to what Blair Witch did in '99. They used the internet when nobody knew how to use it the right way. And they pulled one over on most people. And that was just so innovative for those guys. And I think that I'm curious to see how they were going to revive it. And what's strange is last year, Zach and I had come up with a treatment for Blair Witch. To bring it back. So we had written about a 25-page treatment, and probably 3 to 4 weeks after that, we had heard that somebody had closed a deal with it. And so we were really disappointed because we didn't even get a chance to pitch it.
Yeah.
But it is something that I'd love to revisit and see how they kind of brought it back to life, I guess, because there's a whole generation that probably hasn't even seen the first one. And so that'll be cool. So good for them. And hopefully it'll give a little bit of a shot in the arm for found footage.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of the way that I felt. I had a lot of people that were sending me the Woods, the trailer, and asking me what I thought. And I was like, it feels like something's missing here. Like, I don't feel like they're telling the whole bit. And then when they did the switcheroo, I was like, oh, you got us again, you bastards.
Yep. Yeah. So that was a really smart way to do it.
So I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll see. found footage is still alive and well. And so what do you got going on? Do you have anything new that you're looking to work on or in the works currently?
Yeah, the two horror films, but I can't disclose what they are yet. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I promise when we can talk about it again. Ooh. But yeah, so that's probably been about the past 2 months of Zach, because Zach and I work together on everything. So that's what we've been doing lately, and it's been very interesting and very fun. And we're just hoping to scare people in a little bit different way, like we did before.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait to be able to talk to you about those projects. Now, are you and Zach, have you guys been kind of buddies for a while, or is this something that just kind of grew as you got together for the film?
Yeah, it's crazy. We go as far back. We grew up together. So back to high school, and then he went off to Baylor, and I was at UCLA, and we would write through correspondence. We would write scripts, and I think we'd finished like 3. Because especially I was a pitcher, so you're off like 5 days of that week and you have a lot of downtime. And so I wanted to really use it the right way. And so we had written together all through college, and then he moved out to LA. And then we were roommates for probably like 6 or 7 years. And then I got married, but we still have worked together the entire time and pretty much on everything we do.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's always good when you hear stories like that of people that kind of connected for a long time. I feel like the longer you've kind of been together, just like a relationship, you get to know that person. You can kind of go off each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Absolutely. And I think that's why we casted the way we did as well, because we dialogue and found footage, the next thing we were going to get, they were going to bring in these, it would probably have been a CW actors. They would have grabbed a bunch of these guys that would have no chemistry whatsoever. Zach and I always talk about, like, in the future, getting a bunch of actors that don't know each other and literally either sending them to Vegas for 4 days in the same room or something. So they have their own little stories, and they have all the, just even kind of some of the backstory that you need in the film is so hard to give to somebody just on paper. So we just kind of want to make sure everybody, even if they don't get along, I want to capture it on film, and I want it to be real. Right. So that's what we kind of did, to make sure that some of the stories that come out, that some people don't understand, why are they talking about these stories that we don't get? Well, you obviously understand that we get it, so you know how far back we go.
Well, and the one thing that I really liked about the dialogue was the amount of like cultural references that you guys used. Which made it feel a lot more like people that hung out before, like, I don't know, me, like the co-hosts that I work with, we are constantly talking to each other in movie quotes or this or that. And there's a few different times that you guys would do little things like that. And I'm like, okay, this feels real, because these guys aren't just sitting there bullshitting with each other. There's definitely some like inside joke feel to it.
Yeah, and it's funny, but you'll see some criticism for that sometimes, and I never really understood. I mean, I guess a lot of people want a bow wrapped around everything, and that's why it's a polarizing movie, because I think a lot of people wanted a bow around the ending, and which is fine. I get that, but there's also, if I put a big fat bow on it, it doesn't seem real anymore.
Yeah.
And so that was a big thing. I mean, I think that's why there's not a lot, really any blood in the entire movie, because the second there's blood on camera, Brandy quits and goes home, right? Like, her character is not going to go along for the ride.
Right.
And so we were very conscious of that, trying to make sure that even as far as we would take her, it's not too far that we're the biggest pricks in the world for not taking this girl home. That if she made the decision to keep going, then we keep going. And I didn't want to lose the audience that way, and for them to hate the other guys for making her do that.
No, for sure. And so, like, last Halloween, me and a bunch of people got together. So we do like a movie night at work, and this was the one that I brought forward. I was like, dude, if we're gonna watch the scary movie, let's watch this. And at the end of it, it was split. Half of them were like, I didn't like the ending. And then a couple other ones like, okay, I get it. I get what they were doing.
Right. and that's basically the consensus, which it's weird because you want to be able to service everybody, but you can't. You'll drive yourself insane doing that. But with that, and to your audience and to your friends that watched it, for the people that need a bow, I will tell you more that it was an intermission and not an ending.
Ooh.
So I give you that.
Ah, that's good, man. Now I got the tingles. I don't know how to go with that, but no, and that's one thing. There was a talk we had on a podcast a while back, because even with our podcast, there's that constant strive to get a broader audience to try to kind of reach everybody. But at the end of the day, we sat back and we're like, we're just going to kind of do us, and the people that get it will get it. And the people that don't, we didn't want them to listen anyway.
Yeah. I think being a barometer for yourself, for your audience is good too. I mean, you look at probably the epitome of that, and you see Howard Stern, so there's a lot, even the people, doesn't he say that they have more of an audience of people that hate him than like him because they're curious on what he says, so, you never know. You just, at the end of the day, it's like if you were dating some girl and if you put on a front too much in the beginning, you eventually will become right back to yourself. So if you don't start off that way, you're just going to cause yourself a lot of heartache and problems. Just be who you are. If the people like it, they like it, cool. And that's what's really nice about our fans is the people that really get what we're trying to do are beyond passionate about it. And they tweet about it, they Instagram about it every day. And we love those. I mean, they literally, that's what's kind of nice about social media is we do interact with the fans, and it's good to do that. But you would never have that chance 5 years ago. You wouldn't be able to kind of have that access and even know what people were talking about and liking. And so you learn from it too. I don't think you have to fully take a poll on what everybody liked, but you do know that some things that work, some things, like if you've ever written a line where you think that it's going to be some catchphrase or something like that, it'll never happen that way. It'll always be that line you don't expect.
Yeah. It sneaks out of nowhere.
Yeah.
No, exactly. People will email me or tweet me or whatever, different lines that I've said in a show, and I don't even remember them. And they weren't the ones that I thought killed, but for whatever reason, it resonated with them.
Yep, it's very cool to see that kind of that dynamic come from social media. Is weird, but I guess it's good. There's a lot of bad that comes with social media, but there's a lot of good too.
Yeah, it's definitely a double-edged blade. You're gonna get as much shit as you're gonna get praise. So you just got to be able to wade through the shit. But at the same time, it's really good. And I find that because I do a lot of interviews with bands from all over the world, and you can tell just from what their sort of attitude is towards social media, how well they're going to end up doing. And over the time that we've done this, I've seen the folks that are on social media talking to the fans, going through the motions that way, they grow a lot faster because that's kind of the age that we live in, where they want everybody to be attainable.
Yes.
And I find even more so maybe in the television and movie industry, if you're on there, like even Twitter, just tweeting random shit, it doesn't matter what you're saying. It's the fact that you're talking to them.
Right. Yep. You never know who's listening.
This is true. This would have never been set up had we not done that.
That's right.
Now with Halloween season getting into the kind of the swing here, aside from projects that you're doing, is there anything that you're kind of excited that's coming out or in the future?
You mean like horror movies coming out or well, I'm interested to see what they're doing over at Universal Horror Nights. They're trying to do more of an interactive. Eli Roth is doing with this clown that's kind of been stalking Universal Studios, and I'm assuming what they're going to do is that he's already out there before it opens up, and trying to do a little more interactive than just the normal themed haunts. That sounds pretty cool. We were lucky enough. I don't know him, but it was cool because for us, when we had made the original in 2011, the one on the Blu-ray, we were asked to open up for him at a film festival. And he had won some horror achievement award or something, but they asked the original houses to open up for him. So that was a big deal for us because at the time too, he was one of the guys that kind of put it out there with Cabin Fever and made it himself. And I'll always appreciate that kind of stuff. And I look at Saw as a real influence because I got to actually see it about a year in advance.
Oh, wow.
So I saw no trailer, nothing. And a friend of mine that was in the industry used to send me, it was VHS back then of Saw, of stuff early. She knew how much I liked that stuff, but also they were trying to she wanted to see my opinion or notes or anything. And one day I came home and there was a VHS, and this is the time of The Ring too. There's a VHS just sitting at my front door and it says Saw on it. And I had no idea what it was. We had actually come home from a long night of drinking, and we popped it in and watched it till 4 a.m. and rewatched it again till 6.
Oh, wow.
And that was a movie that they kind of did on their own as well. It's basically a confined movie and with a great twist. And I think that people probably forget about the original with all the sequels and just really need to revisit that because it's a really cool movie.
I did that actually last year. I went back and I re-watched the entire series just to kind of do it because they used to come out every Halloween, right?
Right.
So I was like, it's Halloween time. I'll go back and I'll watch it. And that first one it's just so good. Like, sure, the sequels went on to do well, but that first movie was really well done.
It is. And it's got us, brought us James Wan, which is, he's probably one of the best directors around. I mean, he just has that feel and that touch to it. And, so, those are the nice stories that you hear from something small, bring us a lot of really great movies down the road.
Absolutely, man. Now, do you do anything special for Halloween? Like, do you like make your house into a haunted house or anything like that? Or are you usually busy?
No, it's, well, that's the hard part. We haven't been able to enjoy it the right way for about the past 4 or 5 years because we're usually shooting Halloween. Like the scene in the movie that was really shot Halloween night on Bourbon Street, and it was chaos.
Nice.
That was crazy. But it's always been a thing of mine is I don't tell anybody what I'm going to dress as, and I usually pretty elaborate with it. And then now it's become this like running thing, and people want to know what I'm going to be. And I've just never told anybody because it just became something out of nothing. And so now it's fun to just hold back and do it that way. So usually go to a party and try to go balls out if you can with the costume.
That's awesome, man.
I rode in one year to a party on a kid's tricycle as the Saw puppet. And it was just funny because I mean, I'm 6'5", so it was a really, really just a weird look, but it was funny.
That's awesome. Oh, that's sweet. I'm really excited for Halloween this year. This the first year in a couple of years I'll be home. And I've got an 11-year-old daughter, 8-year-old son. So, I mean, they're going to be pretty excited to have dad home.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best part. And I'm sure you've got to see it more than I have. I have a baby girl. So taking her trick or treating and stuff like that, it's such a different Halloween than I've been used to, the past 20 years, but it's very rewarding and fun. And you see their look and they love dressing up. And so I've really enjoyed that. So my Halloweens have probably curbed a little bit from what I'm used to, but in a good way.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the one thing that I've really loved is especially my daughter. I've been able to see that Halloween spark, that little twinkle in her eye and now she's slowly becoming as twisted as I am. And it's perfect. It's
funny. And you worry for a second, you're like, wait, is this too early? I don't know. Because I had a friend, she actually just texted me 2 days ago, and she said my daughter, and her daughter's 5, wanted to watch Hocus Pocus on Netflix. I was like, oh, that's cool. She's like, but I type in Halloween, and your movie is the second thing that pops up. And I was like, well, she's into zombie strippers. Press play.
Yeah, exactly. Have at her. See what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's been sort of not a struggle, but in our household, a constant discussion between me and the wife over what they can watch and what they can't watch. And a couple of weeks ago, we watched Jaws for the first time.
Nice.
And it was funny because my daughter seemed to like it. my son, who's 8, was like, "This is dumb."
Yeah. Well, but in Jaws was rated PG and then got moved to an R because remember there was no PG-13 at the time, so it's moved and it's so weird because so many people categorize it as horror and it's just it might be my favorite movie of all time. Like I just think it's timeless. I'm shocked on how it doesn't really feel dated, but it'll make probably half the kids that watch it never want to step a toe in the ocean.
Exactly.
I remember my mom wouldn't let me watch Nightmare on Elm Street, and I begged her and begged her and begged her. She wouldn't let me watch it. And probably rightfully so, because I probably till I was about 10 years old, I wouldn't sleep on my back because all I knew of that movie was the poster of Nancy and the blades over her face. So I just thought Freddy could get you if you slept on your back. And that's how fucked up I got by just the poster. So let alone seeing it. So it's funny when, and I'm sure that kind of stuff influenced it because Nightmare on Elm Street has such a cool premise that I think so many horror movies lack. I mean, that idea of playing off of what we all do is sleep, no matter what, you can't avoid it, that kind of thing. Like that was just so brilliant by Craven. And I think a lot of these horror movies lack that visceral scare. And a lot of it is just, not torture porn as much, but it's meaningless. It's jump scares. And I'm not a huge fan of those. I'd just rather have something a little more primal within.
No, absolutely. I want to watch something and then get like the cold shivers where it just strikes you deep.
Yep.
And
I would more than make me scream or something like that. I want something to stick with me for a couple days. And every time I close my eyes, it bothers me. And that's probably what was so smart about Lights Out. And it's not great by any means, but using the idea of the light switch and turning off the lights, it's viral marketing for everybody that went home and turned. I mean, that's the brilliance of that movie and getting it out there to everybody, because anytime people close their eyes at night and get into bed, they might think about Lights Out, and that's smart.
Yeah, that is smart. For Lights Out, I haven't seen the film yet, but I've watched the short on YouTube.
Right.
And that kind of spawned it. And even that, I think it's only like maybe 2 minutes long. And it was the perfect amount of time, the ability, just the click of the light switch. And you're like, holy fuck, that was kind of terrifying for being how short it was.
Right. And it was really smart. And, they made a shit ton with it. And so, good for them. Use stuff like that. Just don't give me the same fucking Possession movie over and over again, please. I'm just tired of it. So hopefully, there's some new stuff coming out. I hope so.
That's awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate talking. I hope we can have you back when you have the ability to chat a little bit more about some future stuff.
Yeah, no problem. Try to hit me up right before Halloween and see if we can disclose anything.
Ooh, sounds good, man. Why don't you let the people know where they can find you?
You can find me on Twitter at BobbyRowe1. And then on Instagram, you can follow Houses October Built for Instagram. And that's usually fun because we try to highlight, there's a lot of profile pictures of scare actors we've worked with or, clips from the movie, but mostly a lot of the stills from the film and things that people kind of haven't seen from behind the scenes.
That's awesome, man. Thanks again. Thanks for doing this, taking the time out. I will definitely touch base with you further on.
Sounds good. All right. Y'all have a good Halloween and we'll talk soon.
You too, man. Thank you so much. Bye. So that was Bobby Rowe. If you guys haven't seen The House is October Built, like he said, it's a little bit of a polarizing film, just in the fact that it might not end the way that you expect it to. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Reach out to me. You can hit me up, fear@fyfcpodcast.com, or on Twitter @FYFCpodcast. Let me know what you think. Personally, I really dug it. I was even watching it again today, and it's very, very well done in the fact that it feels real. It's got a found footage / like documentary feel to it. Super creepy, especially if you don't like dolls or clowns. I mean, it's a perfect movie for Halloween. It's going to get the chills going, and I love it. Thanks for taking the time on. I hope you have a great week. Run along, kiddies.
Hey guys, it's Fear from FYFC Studios. I really hope you're enjoying Talk Life, FEARCast, or A&Way. Plus, there's always lots of entertainment over on our website. Because I'm a cannabis advocate and often forget things, I wanted to make a little bumper to get you fine folks to head over to nftfyb.com. No fucking time for your bullshit. That's how we do. Again, that's www.nftfyb.com. Feel free to reach out on any social media. We're always looking for cool people to talk to, get somebody else's opinion on something, crazy stories you see in the news that you'd love to see us react to. Look, we'll probably never be consistent, but we'll always be entertaining. Thank you for listening. One last time, nftfyb.com.